Thank you so much for being here tonight. There is nothing better than the opportunity to share our work at Reading Aloud, about which we are extremely passionate. Believe it or not, this is our 4th Reading Aloud open house, and we've come a long way since we started in 2019 with a handful of students. I am so proud to share with you where we are today and where we hope to be in the coming year. Most of all, I hope tonight you leave with the same sense of hope that we at Reading Aloud have, because we know that every student with the proper instruction can be a strong reader. We are working with more and more students and changing their lives' trajectories. And across the city, many people are working to do the same. One of our challenges with Reading Aloud is getting our message across the way we want to, in a concise way. We want you to know what makes us unique and why our work is so very important. Quite simply, what sets Reading Aloud apart is that our instructors are all certified and experienced in structured literacy-based methods of reading instruction. Reading Aloud is currently the only nonprofit in Philadelphia providing this level of support to struggling low-income K through adult students in underserved communities across the city. I don't want this to sound like a college class, but to understand what sets us apart, we need to explain what we are doing, why we are doing it, and what we mean by structured literacy. Decades of research have shown that reading doesn't come naturally to us like talking and walking. Some students have brains that make learning to read more difficult than others. Everyone learns to read in the same way, and that is with explicit, systematic, cumulative instruction. You'll often hear it referred to as structured literacy. Intentional reading instruction begins in kindergarten. It's never too late to teach the essential skills, and prevention is easier and cheaper than intervention. We know how students learn to read, but it hasn't yet translated into enough classrooms. Right now, in Philadelphia and across the country, just 35% of our students are reading proficiently or better. Only 18% of our Black and Brown students are reading proficiently, and just 21% of low-income students are reading proficiently. I'm going to reread those statistics because they are so shocking. Only 35% of Philadelphia students are reading proficiently, 18% of Black and Brown students, and only 21% of low-income students are reading proficiently. And yet we know that 95% of our students can learn to read proficiently or better, regardless of their background, if given the right structured literacy instruction. Students will learn to read provided they receive explicit, systematic, and sequential instruction in foundational skills, otherwise known as structured literacy. Just 15% of those students should need some extra support. And my apologies for repeating it, but what sets Reading Aloud apart is that all our instructors are certified and experienced in structured literacy-based programs. We are the only nonprofit in Philadelphia providing this level of support to struggling low-income K through adult students in underserved communities across the city. Access to high-quality structured literacy instruction is currently inequitable. Schools across the country are not all using evidence-based practices. Schools and families with means can pay to make sure their student receives the highest quality literacy instruction. But schools and families in underserved communities do not have the same access. In fact, Risha Conroy of the Dyslexia Alliance for Black Children talked about a high-performing school district in New York where 80 to 90% of students received supplemental education. It's that simple. Families who have the means are paying to ensure their student gets what they need, but families without the means have no options available. Reading Aloud exists to level the playing field. So what is Reading Aloud doing about it?
Reading Aloud is particularly special because their focus on explicit, highly structured language curriculum and using that quality instruction with all kids who need it. Many students are underserved in urban communities. Many students and families are seeking high quality instruction for their children, but it's difficult to find. Reading Aloud does that job. They reach out to families, they get the word out, and that's where the magic happens.
We are providing individualized structured literacy tutoring on an individual basis. We utilize a pool of more than 50 rigorously trained, certified instructors to provide these services. Fees are charged on a sliding scale model based on household income. In 2022, Reading Aloud served approximately 140 students from kindergarten through adult under this model throughout the Philadelphia region. Let me introduce you to our wonderful friend, Andrew, one of our many delightful students of whom we are so proud. Andrew was one of Reading Aloud's first students and has come a long way.
What brought me to Reading Aloud is because I was so shy and I wanted to work on my reading. Before Reading Aloud, I was having hard times reading words without stuttering. Reading Aloud helped me gain confidence. Reading Aloud is special because it gives you the tools to succeed in life.
Reading Aloud is working on the skills a student needs to become a proficient reader, but it's the growth in self-esteem and confidence that also happens along the way that is just as exciting and just as important. Here's Jen, the reading specialist at Andrew's school, and Andrew's mom talking about just that.
I am Jen Lutz, and I am the reading specialist at Community Partnership School. And I started working with Angela through Reading Aloud when she was formulating the program. And one of the first students that she started working with was one of our students, Andrew. He was in second grade. He needed a lot of extra support in reading, and he was getting some of that through the classroom instruction and through support through me at school. Angela decided that she wanted to see if she could expand the access to structured literacy, and so she decided to start working with Andrew that first year. He made a lot of growth working with her. When I ask if he's still shy around reading, they said, no, he's going to raise his hand. He wants to try. Even if he doesn't know, he's going to try. He's got this confidence. And so it's really wonderful that we have this opportunity to work with Reading Aloud.
Andrew goes to Community Partnership School. Through his school, they told us about this wonderful program called Reading Aloud, where he'll be able to get tutoring through this program for free. We started the program. It has grown to, a year-round program, a great communication between myself and his tutors throughout the years. And it's really, helped him with his confidence in school.
She encourages me for reading louder. It's hard sometimes, but I push through it.
Even out of school, just in summer camps and just extracurricular activities, it's really brought him out of his shell. It showed him that there's different, paths to reading or just different paths to learning. It's just been a really good tool for him in his school and just his everyday life.
So what else are we doing? We are partnering with underserved schools and community organizations because prevention is better than a cure. We know that by supporting faculty in implementing the best structured literacy practices in their classrooms, screening and identifying those students at risk of reading failure, and providing small group and individual instruction to those students, we can catch students before they have a chance to fail. Principal Scott from Meade Elementary talks here about the challenges schools are facing.
Literacy instruction, I think, has been a struggle. This is almost my 20th year education, and we've been fighting for years to close the achievement gap for reading and writing for students. I think over the last 2 or 3 years, it's become increasingly hard due to the pandemic, due to virtual learning and how that was kind of offset. through the different phases in the districts and the charter schools and so on and so forth. And students are now, some students are just returning this year to brick and mortar schools and getting that direct instruction. A lot of our students who are in third grade are essentially in kindergarten reading level, which poses a challenge for us to be able to instruct them and get them up to par, ready for 4th and 5th grade coming up. On the flip side, there is a small amount of our students who are on or above grade level, but they're mixed in with the classes of the students that are 3 or 4 years behind. So the struggle is having one teacher, 25 kids, and having students on both ends of the spectrum, and being able to instruct a rigorous lesson that reaches the needs of all the students in a 90-minute block.
Reading Aloud is working with approximately 100 students across multiple sites. These sites include Visitation BVM School in Kensington, General Meade Elementary in North Philadelphia, Mastery Worcester Campus in Germantown, Francis Scott Key School in South Philadelphia, and the Village at Norristown. Let me tell you about some of our school partners, and please let me know if you would like to come visit and see firsthand the impact we are having. I said there's nothing better than talking about reading aloud, but in fact I think seeing our instructors in action is even better. We love our partnership with Francis Scott Key School in South Philadelphia. Just walking in that building makes me smile. Here's Sarah from Francis Scott Key talking about the impact reading aloud is having on her and her students.
My name is Sarah Smith, and I am a first grade English language development teacher. I am at Francis Scott Key School, which is one of the oldest elementary schools in the city. It's over 125 years old. We also have the largest English language learner population in the city. We're at about 72%. And we also have a very wide diversity of languages spoken here. Over 32 languages are spoken at Key School. We started our relationship with Reading Aloud this school year, and we are fortunate enough to have a wonderful Wilson certified instructor here 3 days a week. She has made an unbelievable difference to our student community. She is working with some of our students who are a few years below reading level, predominantly 4th, 5th, 6th grade students. And the gains that they have made on our STAR assessment and on DIBELS has really been impactful. Additionally, many of them, because they were so many years below grade level, we've seen such a difference in their social emotional, their confidence, their general presence is happier, and it's really due to the love and nurturing and caring instructor that we have at Reading Aloud, who's just so generous with her time. So that has been a real fortunate situation for us.
General Meade Elementary is in North Philadelphia. Reading Aloud is working with small first grade groups there, as well as one-on-one with older students. Collaborating with the folks at Meade is the best. The faculty at Meade know their students and families so well, and they can match us with the students they know will meet with success while working with Reading Aloud. We are proud that we have been working with these students throughout the summers and not just in the school year. And as Principal Scott says, we have really become part of the Meade family. Here's Principal Scott talking about why Reading Aloud is so important to Meade.
Reading Aloud is just such a joy to have in the building, first of all, and it's such a great resource because we're paired up, obviously, with our reading specialist, with me, the principal, our teacher leader as well. And we really, because it's such a small organization, we really try to pull out our neediest students that can get the most out of this, like one-to-one or two-to-one experience, and be able to kind of maximize that and be able to see that through year to year to year, and to see those students grow and grow and grow. Again, they come with the expertise, the Wilson certified training, the foundations training, and being able to dive down and do that one-on-one that we just don't have the staff to do. and provide that expertise that they bring into the building to be able to move our students above where they actually need to be. Our students are growing social emotionally as well because they're more confident when they come into class because they're building those skills. I see a difference when that students pop back into class, they're able to jump into their work versus a few years ago, we couldn't even get them to concentrate because they could not grasp anything. So we're definitely seeing the social emotional growth and we're definitely seeing the academic growth just by pulling 2 and 3 students for a few hours per day. And again, that work then travels throughout the summer. Like Reading Aloud really never dropped the ball. They really continue to work. They see the work throughout the summertime, and students are able to not have that summer slide. They're able to come back and really just pick up where they left off. So, awesome collaboration.
Visitation BVM School is in Kensington, a challenging area of our city. But when you walk into the building, you are met with many smiling faces and adults who clearly care so deeply about their students. Our work in the younger grades is funded by the William Penn Foundation, and our work in the older grades by the Connolly Foundation. We are really excited at the growth our students are making, both in the classroom and in their small groups. Here's Jen back in the fall teaching a kindergarten class. Through funding from the William Penn Foundation, we are working with K-2 students at Mastery Charter School, Worcester campus. Working with Principal Erica Smith and her wonderful team has allowed us to dive into the data to identify those students who would most benefit from our support and to monitor their progress. It's exciting, and we're thrilled that our work at Visitation BVM and Mastery Worcester is funded for 3 years.
We serve a population and a community here that has some of the highest poverty in the city, as well as the highest rate of homelessness. Students need a lot of support, as do our families. And so when we talk about literacy instruction, like anything we can give our students extra, whether it's in the building or in partnership with families or partnerships with outside organizations, like the better, because our kids deserve it. In regards to our collaboration with Reading Aloud, we developed our relationship during COVID, well, right after kind of the initial shutdown, and looking to get our students additional support. And through that relationship, it's been really great to work on developing what a strong collaboration looks like between a school-based community and outside experts in what they do. And so I'm excited, not only in the work has been done, which I can talk about that in a minute, but also just about what the potential is going to be in the next couple of years as a model for what this could look like, in other schools. It's been really great to see already the students and the teachers start to talk about the relationship as it's just part of school. It's part of the natural things we do at Worcester. It's not like an extra thing or another thing. It's just part of our daily and monthly and quarterly routines. The collaboration really I want to talk about is between the teachers and how they talk about reading aloud. And I just got to witness that the other day at the professional development session of grouping kids and renorming. And that with Sarah, who's now here from Reading Aloud, was so exciting to see on the ground.
We are incredibly proud of our pool of structured literacy instructors, but this pool does not yet reflect the diversity of the students we serve, and so we have made it a priority to broaden and diversify our pool of instructors. With a generous grant from the William Penn Foundation, this school year, we are training 15 individuals from diverse backgrounds to become certified structured literacy practitioners, and we hope to increase this number in 2023. This will provide Reading Aloud with a pipeline of highly trained instructors, as well as providing these teachers with skills that are already benefiting the students in their classrooms. Jocelyn is one of our scholarship candidates. She's a kindergarten teacher, and hearing her express how this training is already helping her kindergartners is exactly what we had hoped for.
one of the greatest things for me that's come out of doing the Wilson training, I mean, it's intense, but they're little pieces that I'm already using with my 5-year-olds. One of the most difficult tasks for the children to do is phoneme segmentation. We give this to them like right at the start of the school. We say a word and tell me the sounds you hear in a word. And they're looking at me like I'm talking with no head. I would go k, at, cat. I would tap out the sounds, which is straight from Wilson. There's so much in the program that teachers can start to incorporate in their classroom. I spent 4 years in 3rd grade having children come to me that were reading on a K1 level. How much more I could have done with them had I had some of these things in my toolbox.
Right.
Because it's what they need.
We need to bring attention to the literacy crisis in Philadelphia and how devastating its consequences can be. Our speaker series, Reading is a Social Justice Issue, has been very well received and very well attended. We kicked off the series with a panel event at the Free Library of Philadelphia in October and an interview with Risha Conroy, founder of the Dyslexia Alliance for Black Children, in January. And we're looking forward to sharing more events this year. And we're engaging speakers such as this distinguished panel here today so that we can bring as much awareness as possible to the devastating effects of illiteracy, and hopefully so we can bring Philadelphia closer to solving this problem, which is solvable. We're also committed to staying at the cutting edge of research so that our students are receiving the best possible instruction. Our instructors have met this past year to share ideas and resources, have conversations about race and how to solve problems together. New Reading Aloud students are assessed so that we can guide our instruction and track their progress. We set goals for each student, and students are assigned an instructor best suited to their personality and needs. We have developed a model to collect, analyze, and use data so that our students are constantly receiving instruction best tailored to their needs. It is this attention that sets us apart from other nonprofit organizations, and we are dedicated to finding new ways to use and share data to inform instruction, and we now have a staff member dedicated to this. Data from our student assessments indicates that our structured literacy approach is highly effective, and we will be sharing much more specific data. What we are seeing is that students who initially tested far below grade level have been meeting and advancing past benchmark targets. Not only does our data demonstrate the impact of specialized instruction, but our anecdotal records illustrate the deep impact and importance of our work. Schools and families report a significant increase in students' self-esteem, positive feelings about school, and self-confidence. As you can see, Reading Aloud has seen a lot of growth over the past couple of years. We now have 5 employees, including myself, Kara, Katie, Jen, and Amy, as well as more than 50 structured literacy certified instructors. We know that quantity isn't always quality, so our goal this year is to maintain and surpass the quality that sets us apart from other organizations. In addition to taking care of our students on a daily basis, we are devoting a lot of time to collecting and analyzing our data and getting feedback from stakeholders to make sure that we are doing the very best for our students. With generous support from foundations and our supporters, we will continue to work in our schools and community organizations. We are receiving multiple calls each week from families looking for support for their struggling readers, and we will continue to keep saying yes to every student who needs us, regardless of their financial circumstances. We are really excited to be planning a pilot program with the Philadelphia Department of Prisons. It's estimated that 48% of incarcerated individuals have dyslexia or other reading challenges, and that 70% of all incarcerated adults cannot read at a 4th grade level. I'm really looking forward to sharing more about this program in the next few months. So while the challenges sometimes feel daunting and overwhelming, we have many reasons to feel hopeful. Organisations such as Read by Fourth are working hard to bring literacy organisations across the city together so we can unite to literally change the trajectory of lives. And more schools and universities are waking up to the idea that there is a better way to teach reading. And our hope is that future teachers will be armed with the knowledge they need to make sure their students get the most up-to-date literacy instruction they need. With the support of many foundations and with the generosity of our donors, we are working with more than 250 students, and that number is growing weekly. By working with schools and training instructors, we are broadening the scope of our reach. Of course, as we strive to meet the needs of more of Philadelphia's student struggling readers, we need to raise funds to pay our instructors, to pay for student supplies, to pay for the professional development that keeps us on the cutting edge, for the time spent collecting and analyzing data, and of course, I could keep going. We are so humbled and grateful for the incredible support we have received and hope you will continue to support us and to learn about ways you can help us. Please don't hesitate to reach out so we can tell you more about our goals and what we need to get there. Words can't adequately express our gratitude for your support, and we hope we can continue to share our work with you as the year progresses.